Hey guys, and welcome back to the Imperium of Rats. This is the third episode in this series that you could find linked below, and today we're going to be working on making a Scout Sentinel. And before we get into that, I just wanted to apologise for the incredibly long delay since the last one. I have currently moved twice, and it's taken quite a bit of time to get back into actually building the models. I've had half of this on my computer for about, 6 months now, and I'm finally getting around to finishing it. So, let's get right in. So to start off with, we're going to be using the old Sentinel kit. The new one should work, but frankly, this is the old box I had because not only did I start making these Sentinels and I wanted to match before the new one was released, but also it matches a bit more of the aesthetic of old, janky, scrapped together that the Skaven Guard are trying to push towards. Starting off, we're going to be assembling just as usual by building the legs. After that, we want to start looking at how the legs are going to look on the model. For this, I decided to go for a bit of a lower down position, maybe with the Skaven getting out the vehicle or leaning out the vehicle. The other two are quite vertical in how they're positioned. So I wanted to add a bit of contrast across the three different Sentinels. Just a bit more adjusting. Then you're going to attach it to the base. Make sure it doesn't move around. I decided to glue the ball joints in after the position was already done. Next we work on building the main base plate of the actual model, the hull. Once again, we're going to be lining this up before the main axis of the hips of the vehicle are done, and we're going to be carving out the back end of it because we want it to face a little bit lower, because realistically, although rats are agile, they're going to be quite low to the ground to be able to get in and out because of their short height. We're also going to look to remove the door. The door, I decided in the end to go with the open door idea. Because that allows the Skaven to be completely out of the main vehicle. Not only does that allow painting on the inside a bit easier, but it also allows it to have, again, a bit more of like a diorama-esque look to the actual model. Next, we're going to be attaching the roof to the Sentinel. After this, we are going to be adding the back to the Sentinel. I decided to go with something a bit more elongated, as I looked at the event and I was a bit like, standard, normal. So what I decided to do is, as you can see, take a bottom half of the missile pod that goes on the side. Then I decided to cut down the main joining area so that I can glue on smoothly. With the base of the extended chassis, I decided to then just plug in the usual, I'm not even sure what that is, battery, I guess? And then cut down the bottom of the vents. The vents made it quite hard to attach properly onto the base because of obviously the jury-rig nature. So it took a little bit of cutting back with super glue to obviously attach onwards. After the main back was built up, the gas tank for the flamethrower was then added onto the side, and then attaching the flamethrower itself. We did this a bit earlier because otherwise it might get in the way and affect how we can attach the side on, which we are going to do now. We ended up using just random bits of metal plating that I had in my collection. Nothing too major here. Glue it on, make it look straight. And that added a almost capacity. It's a little bit wonky, as you can see, but the upside of working with Skaven models is if it's a bit wonky, that's kind of fine. That kind of plays to the aesthetic. Then, because it's a flat piece with no real decoration, I cut back a bit and then added on a antenna. I assume to play more into the scouting aspects of the vehicle. After this, we're going to be putting the gas canisters on the side of the vehicle, just a bit extra to see what's worth padding out. It's a bit of a gap, so adding a bit more gubbins on the side seems to work. I decided in the end against the assault cannon, but going for bits of boxes, randomly attaching stuff seems to work well for most of them. In the end, I decided on packing it out with supplies and las guns and such. Now, where the assault cannon part was going to go, I ended up testing a few different bits out from an old guard kit. Ended up going with the satchels on the side. It overhung slightly here, but at the end of the day, the best part about working with this type is you can be a bit skew and still work perfectly fine. No one will notice, and frankly, if they do notice, it just plays more into the character of the model. I also decided to put a little rat in there because that's cool. We're now going to attach it to the base of the model. In the end, I decided to give it a quite low down profile because I decided to have the Skaven outside of the vehicle, hence the door opening. And what this means is I can give it more of a diorama pose. That is partly why I did not glue the center in, because the angling after the legs will be glued to the base, and adds a bit of change. With the main Skaven, I went for a more cloth-covered Skaven to look a bit more scouty, and then obviously cut back the arm as shown in the previous episodes. I then took the arm of the Sentinel, cutting off the excess driving stick, because what that does is a great position to hold an item in front of him like he's looking at it. I ended up using the other hand being part of a two-handed weapon with the arm outstretched. This ended up giving it a character of confusion as he's clearly lost somewhere in the jungle. Next, we're going to get some green stuff out. This is to fill in the armhole at the side. Once again, across all the Skaven, a large amount of the techniques are all exactly the same as each other, because a lot of the time we're using the same base models, be that for a guard rat, a heavy weapon team. All of them tend to use the older Skaven kit. A new one has come out at this time, but not at the time of recording, because I did this quite a few, frankly, at this stage years ago. Along with this, we are also going to be cutting out a square, which we're going to be using for a map. Green stuff is great for paper and cloth because it allows a bit of change, and when you hang it on a model, it ends up with the weight of the green stuff pulling it down and looking a bit more natural in the hand. It does get stuck to the table. We ended up measuring the hand against the paper and then cutting a small section away so it can be glued to the side of the hand and make it look like he's holding it. After a short while, the green stuff will be just firm enough that you can work with it without smushing it with your hand as you attach the arm to the model. And you do so with, I've done it with super glue. I tend to use super glue for everything. That's just our habit though, to be fair. After putting it on the base, that's the major done. We've then got just the last few bits to add on, such as the front, which I ended up going with the standard Scout Sentinel or Armored Sentinel, I think they're individual pieces, along with some Skaven decals or gubbins on the side. And it's done. I've yet to paint this model. It is currently, along with the other Scout Sentinels, part of a 3-part man group. That's the previous one I made. This one is a little less extensive in how much work I've done on it. And this is the one that I have fully painted. I did a bit more wiring on this one because I decided to give it more of a heavily emphasis on the flamethrower, using an old heavy weapon flamer from the old world kit, or the fantasy kit back when it was there. It was from the Island of Blood, if I remember correctly. And that's it. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Hopefully it should be a little sooner than my last post, as that was quite a while ago. Great day. Goodbye.